Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video, we are stepping away from arcane, and we have put together a dexterity-based samurai build. This is going to be focusing on dual katanas, and although there will be a little bit of bleed involved, you don't need to focus on your arcane stat. It's all primarily based on dex. So just quickly before we do get into the showcase and everything in the build, if you are not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, all support is greatly appreciated, and if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. So over in Caelid at the isolated merchant shack, we are first going to pull out our seal. We are going to coat our katana with some fire. Then we're going to proc Golden Vow. Then we're also going to use Flame Grant Me Strength. And I'm going to drink my flask. Then if we come over here and we get our other katana out, you'll see just in 2 left bumper attacks, that guy is dead. But are you ready for one of the best things about this? If we ignore the rams, they're probably going to interrupt the video at some point. We come over to this big guy, and look at this. I have exactly the same moveset with my left trigger skill as the Rivers of Blood. You've got exactly the same moveset with this. The double, the triple into the heavy ground slam. So if we come over here and we do a jumping right trigger, it's 1100 for one attack. But you'll see there is a little bit of blood built into the build. And then if we just finish that guy off, there we go. And again, typical, a ram's trying to ruin it. So if we come over to Caria Manor and we proc everything on the build, finishing up with Flame Grant Me Strength. If we come to this guy and we just do left bumper attacks, look at how quick he's just been ruined. But not only that, you're going to actually look like a samurai with this one, and it's going to be like a full-on build. It is not like, oh, we're going to run a mage headpiece, like one of the glintstone crowns, whilst we're using the Rivers of Blood katana. You're actually going to look like a samurai whilst you're playing like a samurai. So, starting with the build, we are going to run the Nagakiba. The reason we are running the Nagakiba is because of its range over every other katana in the game. You'll see that's a very big length difference. So you're going to get a lot of extra range. What you want to do is level this one up, and you want to apply the double slash Ash of War to it. Very, very cheap in FP cost. It's 6 for the initial attack and then 3 for the follow-up. And the double slash is what's going to be the Rivers of Blood moveset. Also, you want to apply the Keen Affinity, because that's going to give you, at plus 24, A tier scaling for dexterity. The attribute requirements are 18 strength and 22 dex. That's the most dex you'll need to put this together. That is the minimum requirements. And this will also cause a blood loss build-up at a rating of 45. You can spec more into bleed with this if you wanted to. Like obviously you can put seppuku and stuff on it. You can also apply the blood affinity, which will like drastically boost that blood loss build-up. So the reason we've gone with Keen is because we are building this based on dexterity and not necessarily bleed and arcane. Then in your offhand, I just put Royal Knight's Resolve on. You can use pretty much any Ash of War as long as you can put the Keen Affinity on your offhand weapon as well. The only thing that will give it the A dexterity scaling is the Keen Affinity. You're not really going to use the skill on your offhand weapon. I mean, you can if you want to, but with Royal Knight's Resolve, it's an 80% damage boost, but it's only for like 1 hit and it's with that specific weapon. They did fix it, it was broken, and you could use it on any weapon that you've got equipped. Lower attribute requirements for this, 11 strength and 15 dex, compared to the 18 strength and 22 dex of the Nagakiba. The blood loss build-up is exactly the same. Then in terms of seals, I looked for a seal that scales with dexterity, and the only one will actually cause a little bit of a madness build-up when you use it. Don't worry about a dexterity scaling seal, just use any of them. And there are going to be 3 different incantations we are using with the build. So the Okina mask, if you have the Rivers of Blood, you will already have this. If not, I'll go through the locations of everything in the build at the end of the video. So we have the Okina mask, it's going to boost our dexterity by 3. Then we've got the white reed armor set on, because that is like the nicest looking samurai set in the game, in my opinion. Then we are running an heirloom to raise our dexterity. However, if your dexterity is already high enough, you don't need to run this. You can run a lot of other different things, really. You can put on the Carian filigreed crest. You can equip the Fire Scorpion Charm because Bloodflame Blade will give your weapon a little bit of fire damage. You could also, if you wanted to, run Ritual Sword. Although this is a very situational talisman, you have to be at maximum health. You could also run Godskin Swaddling Cloth so that you are restoring health over, like the more attacks you do, the more successive attacks, the more you're going to regain health. You could even use something like Taker's Cameo so that when you kill an enemy, you get health back. So there are lots of different choices, but I am running the heirloom that raises my dex because I need to boost it in order to show you this video with a good sort of showcase of how much damage the build can deal. Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, any katana build, curved sword build, anything that's going to be releasing quick attacks, you want this talisman every single time. Then anything involving skills, make sure you have Shard of Alexander because it greatly boosts the attack power of your skills. And then I'm again running something specifically to boost my dexterity, and that is Radagon Soreseal. So as I mentioned previously with the other talismans, like the optional ones, you can run any of those instead of this if your dex is already high enough. And then in the Flask of Wondrous Physick, we have Greenburst Crystal Tear so that we get a stamina recovery speed boost. And we also run Dexterity-knot Crystal Tear, which is going to boost your dexterity by 10. And this lasts for 3 minutes. So as long as I use my flask, my dex goes up to 52. And that will last for an entire 3 minutes. The 3 incantations you are going to use are Golden Veil. This is pretty much used in every single build I run. It increases your attack and your defense. Then we've got Flame Grant Me Strength because, as I said, there's a little bit of fire damage, but it also raises your physical attack power at the same time. And then Bloodflame Blade because it enchants your right hand armament with Bloodflame, which is where you're going to get bonus bleed damage and the fire damage. That's exactly where it comes from. So, just quickly before we get into the locations, if you look at the attack power at the top right corner, we've got 473 on the Nagakiba and 481 on the Uchigatana. If we proc everything, so I drink my flask, I get out the sill, and then I use Golden Veil, I use Flame Grant Me Strength, and then I use Bloodflame Blade, we go back in, and the attack power has gone up to 795 on the Nagakiba, and 711 on the Uchigatana. So the location of the Nagakiba is tied to the Bloody Finger Hunter Ura's questline. When you first start the quest, from Agil Lake South, if you come over here, you will find Hunter Ura here. After you've exhausted his dialogue, he is going to move up to Murkwater Cave. If you've never been here before, there will be an invasion from an NPC, and providing you've spoken to Hunter Ura at the first location we just went through, he will come and assist you in this invasion. Then he will move up to this section here. You can kill him at any point and he will drop you the Nagakiba. But if you talk to him here, he's then going to move over to Raya Lucaria Academy, and from the main academy gate, he will be over here. There will be a point here where you can get summoned into his world, and once you defeat that enemy, you will also get Raptor of the Mists, which is an incredible Ash of War that will massively help you out when it comes to the chariots and the heroes' graves. After you've done that fight and you've helped Hunter Ura, he will be on the bridge, but on the left-hand side of it, as you're coming up like from the southwest. And then the questline progresses up to the second church of Marika in the Altus Plateau. If you've made it this far and you haven't killed him, you can also get your hands on Eleonora's pole blade. And then from here, you will also see him over at Zamor Ruins. And if you do complete his quest, he dies at Zamor Ruins, you will have to go back to one of the first 2 locations, so right here on the map, and then further up here above Murkwater Cave. So basically the location is going to depend on where you kill him and how far you have progressed in his questline. In order to get your hands on the double slash Ash of War, so that you have the exact same moveset as the Rivers of Blood, if you come over to Caelid to the Celia Understair Site of Grace, what you're going to do from here is head up these stairs, come along to the north, make your way up this giant staircase, and then you're going to jump across to this route, onto the buildings, and jump across to this one. Then if you just follow my exact path, onto these routes here, and over on this side, there is going to be a teardrop scarab. Take that scarab down, you'll get double slash. The Uchigatana is much easier to obtain. If you've started as a samurai, you can skip this part using the chapters. However, if you haven't started the game as a samurai, from Gatefront, if you make your way to Stormhill Shack and then come along and you make it to Saint's Bridge, I only point out Saint's Bridge because it's a site of grace that's close by. If you come back on yourself and come along here and come up into the death-touched catacombs, you can find the Uchigatana in there. With the seals, it doesn't matter which one you have. So I'm not going to explain how you get the Dragon Communion seal. I've done a video for that on the channel. But you can have any seal in the game. So the easiest one to obtain is go to the Round Table Hold, talk to the Twin Maiden Husks, and you can buy the finger seal off them. Then moving into incantations for Golden Vow from the Bridge of Iniquity, which is all the way at the top left of the map, just past the Altus Plateau region, you move into Mount Gelmir. If you follow this path all the way along and you come to the Corpse Stench Shack, there will be an NPC that invades you, but once you kill the NPC, head into the shack and you can pick up Golden Vow. For the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation, make your way to Caelid, to Caelid Ruins, come off the main path and make it down to Fort Gale North. Then if you make your way up into the fort, around the back of it, so on like the southwest side, there's going to be 2 flamethrower turrets. In between those, there is a corpse, and on the corpse you will find a Flame Grant Me Strength. Then for Bloodflame Blade, if you come over to Liurnia and you make your way to Folly on the Lake, if you head northwest up to Rose Church, on the northwest side there is going to be a teardrop scarab around this sort of area that will drop you Bloodflame Blade. But you have to be careful with this one because there is another scarab in the area that will not drop anything. So if you take out a scarab, it doesn't drop anything, you've taken down the wrong one. Find the other one, it's just northwest of Rose Church, and that one will drop you Bloodflame Blade. So with the Okina Mask and the White Reed Armour set, in Mountaintops of the Giants, if you come up here and you get to the Church of Repose, Bloody Finger Okina will invade you around this sort of area here, and once you kill him, you'll get the mask. Then if you want the White Reed Armour set, over here at the very top right of the map, you've got Freezing Lake. If you come down here, you've got Spirit Caller Cave. The cave does require Stone Sword keys to open, but if you go into the cave, you will find the armour set in there. Although I said you don't need to use the heirloom depending on your dexterity, if you do need to raise it a little bit, this heirloom, if you finish the side quest which is given by Galri in Caelid, so over in Caelid, if you have a look here, you have Galri's Shack. So I'm not entirely sure how far into the Millicent quest you will obtain it, but it's after finishing the side quest that's given to you by Galri. Then with the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, this is carrying on with Millicent's quest. You need to make it all the way pretty much to the end, and you need to assist Millicent when you have the opportunity to, because you can go against her or assist her. If you assist Millicent, you will get the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia. There is one that has less power, it will just raise your attack power with successive attacks instead of greatly raising it. I wouldn't recommend that one at all. And it goes the same for the Shard of Alexander. This will greatly boost the attack power of your skills. You have to complete Iron Fist Alexander's questline. And again, you can get a weaker one which will just boost the attack power, but it really is not worth it. Then with Radagon Soreseal, the final talisman, in Caelid again, up at Fort Faroth, if you progress through that fort, you will find Radagon Soreseal. Then the final piece of the puzzle, getting the tiers for the Flask of Wondrous Physick. If you don't have your flask, if you make it to the 3rd Church of Marika, your flask will be in there. And with the Greenburst Crystal tier, which will boost your stamina recovery speed, if you come up to the Minor Erd Tree in Caelid, so go from the Smouldering Church and kind of drop down onto the lower section and make it all the way down, take down the Erd Tree Avatar boss, you will get the Greenburst Crystal tier. Then making it over to Liurnia, if you have a look at Scenic Isle, and you have a look at Boil Prawn Shack, on this little rock here, you will find the Dexterity-knot Crystal tier, and that will finish off your Flask of Wondrous Physick. So that was a look at the best Elden Ring Samurai build that deals huge damage, and it's all based on dexterity. What we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.